Good evening. At this time, we'll have the Star Spangled Banner. If you would please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated now. Good evening and welcome to Missisquoi Valley Union Middle and High School and our 55th high school graduation ceremony. On behalf of the senior class of 2025, we would like to thank you for joining us this very special evening. In case you missed the Senior Awards evening on May 19th, I would like to share a few of the highlights for the class of 2025. There are 11 seniors who are members of the National Technical Honor Society through Northwestern Career Technical Center and Cold Hollow Career Center. There are 23 students who are members of the National Honor Society and National Arts Honor Society who together completed over 700 hours of community service this year. Thirteen members of our senior class received the Vermont Principals Association Scholar Activity Award for having a 3.7 GPA or higher and participated in a Vermont Principals Academy's associated sponsored activity for at least 2 years. And this year, just over $700,000 worth of scholarships have been awarded to the class of 2025. These are but a few of the accomplishments of these seniors. Congratulations for both the amazing things that you have accomplished and for the amazing things that you will continue to do for years to come. Whether you intend to enter the workforce, the military, the trades, or go on to college, I thank you for being a Thunderbird and wish you the best in your future endeavors. On the stage this evening, I would like to introduce our school board chair, Rennick Darnell Martin, and our superintendent, Ms. Julie Regenbald. And over on this side, we have our commencement speaker, Dr. Aeneas Jans, and our director of student affairs, Mr. Steve Mestier. At this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Julie Regenbald, our superintendent of schools.
And a heartfelt welcome to our graduating seniors, their families and friends. It's truly a pleasure to be here to celebrate this inspiring and talented class. Each year, it is my distinct privilege to acknowledge the graduating seniors who have made a profound commitment to public service by joining the United States military. This year, MVU is proud to recognize 2 seniors who are embarking on this honorable path. Please join me in a round of applause for Xander Gurley, who is enlisted in the Army, and Brady Hilbin, who is enlisted in the Air National Guard. Thank you both for your exceptional commitment. Your teachers and family members are incredibly proud of the dedication you've shown. Now let's kick off the celebration of this wonderful class with a performance from the MVU Band.
At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium the senior class president, Elizabeth Bordeaux.
Good evening, and thank you for being here with us tonight to celebrate. I am Elizabeth Bordeaux, and I am proud to represent the class of 2025 as the class president. Standing here tonight, it's hard to believe how fast these 4 years have flown by. It feels just like yesterday when we were nervous freshmen walking into school. I'm sure there were many different emotions running through our body that day. Some were nervous, excited, and maybe even a little sad. And now, here we are, about to walk across the stage and not just pick up a diploma, but start a new chapter in our lives. We have all faced different journeys and challenges in our high school career, and it would be very hard for me to summarize everyone's high school experience. But one thing we all have in common is that our journey has taught us perseverance. We've all been tested time and time again, and not just academically, but personally and emotionally. We have faced challenges we never thought we would face. Some of us struggled silently and some out loud. We lost things along the way. Moments, people, and plans. And yet, we're here all together on a night we have looked forward to for years. That speaks volumes. We never quit and never gave up. When challenges felt impossible, we pushed forward and got through them. Our class is very intelligent and talented, but what really is important is that we have grit and heart. We have a kind of courage that the world is going to need a lot more of. Along the way, we had our shares of wins and losses. We won championships, awards, and competitions. And even though it wasn't always about trophies, we had those small victories too. Acing a test we thought we'd fail, speaking up in class when it scared us, finding our voice, our people, and our confidence. And yes, we faced losses. We lost games, missed chances, and moments that didn't go how we hoped. But even in those losses, we learned. We became better, stronger, and more grounded. Those moments shaped us just as much as the wins did, maybe even a little more. And we didn't just survive these past 4 years, we thrived. We made memories we'll never forget and ones that we'll cherish forever. We grew up here, in this school, in this community, and with these people. And now, here we are, walking into something new, something bigger. And yes, it is scary, but it's also exciting, because we're ready. Not because we have all the answers, but because we have learned how to persevere through the hard times and how to adapt and how to keep going. To our teachers, thank you for being more than just educators. You are our mentors and our motivators. You believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. Your patience, passion, and constant encouragement shaped us into the people we are today. And we're leaving here not just smarter, but wiser because of you. And to our families, you are our foundation. Thank you for reminding us to keep going, for believing in us, and for loving us unconditionally, even when we are a little hard to love. We wouldn't be here without your strength and support behind us every step of the way. And to my classmates, thank you for the memories and the laughs. You've shown me what it means to grow with people, to stand by people, and to believe in what's possible. As we turn the page on this next chapter of our lives, let's carry everything we learned into whatever comes next. We're stepping into a world full of uncertainty, but also full of opportunities. And if there's one thing this journey has proven, it's that we are ready. We are ready to grow, to fall, and to rise again. So let's chase dreams that may scare us a little bit, hold tight to the people that lift us up and support us, and never forget where we came from or who we became along the way. Congratulations, class of 2025. This isn't the end, this is just the beginning. Thank you.
I would now like to welcome Josie McGuire and Colby Young to introduce our commencement speaker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josie McGuire.
And I'm Colby Young.
It's a pleasure to see you all here today. We gather not only to celebrate the achievements of the graduates, but also to look ahead to the bright futures we're about to embark on. We are honored to welcome a truly inspiring guest speaker, Dr. Aeneas Jansi. Aeneas graduated from MVU in 1993, then went on to earn his degree in biology from St. Michael's and attend NYU Medical School. He later joined the Army, where he specialized in physical medicine. As a pioneer in prolotherapy and regenerative pain medicine, he treated soldiers in Germany and Afghanistan with remarkable success.
His journey didn't stop there. Dr. Janty took a bold leap into entrepreneurship, founding Epic Wipes, a giant wet wipe company that gained national attention on Good Morning America and Steve Harvey's Thunderdome. Eventually, he returned to medicine, serving as the chief of Interdisciplinary Pain Center at Forest Blitz, before returning to Walter Reed Medical Center, where he continues to teach and treat chronic pain patients around the world. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Dr. Janty has also built a loving family with 3 children and remains deeply compassionate and a dedicated physician. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Arenas Janty.
Wow, thank you. Can you guys hear me back there? So, first of all, I just want to tell you that when I was first asked to be your commencement speaker, I kind of got a big head about it. I was like, yes! I called up my mom and I was like, Mom, you won't believe this, but your son is kind of a big deal. But in all sincerity, I was truly touched to have been asked, so thank you. Even though you probably don't know who I am, I do have 6 younger sisters, who some of you probably do know. In fact, I know that some of you guys in the audience had my sister Emily Button for your kindergarten teacher at Swanton Elementary. And she's actually here tonight, so sometimes life really does come full circle. So let's get right to it. When I was preparing this speech, I was asking myself, what's the single most important thing I wish I truly understood when I was your age? And I landed on this. You are not that special. Isn't that great? I mean, seriously, doesn't it feel like a huge weight has been lifted off of your shoulders? If it doesn't, it should, because the myth of being special is a total trap. It either paralyzes you with the pressure of living up to a gift you never asked for, or it convinces you that without a gift, you don't have a shot of doing anything great. But if you're not special, you're free from all of that. You're free to build your own value from scratch. Because the world doesn't really reward some magical innate gift. It rewards your effort, it rewards your discipline, it rewards the unsexy magic of consistency. This is what the author Malcolm Gladwell meant when he said talent is overrated. And I know what you're thinking. First I tell you you're free, and then I say your future depends on effort, discipline, and consistency, which I'm sure to most of you sounds an awful lot like a grind. And grinding out your life doesn't exactly sound very liberating. But here's the secret that changes the entire equation. The grind is only a grind when it's meaningless. The moment you find a purpose, a deep personal why, everything changes. The purpose is what ignites your fire. It's the fuel that turns miserable effort into a meaningful pursuit. And your purpose can come from anywhere. It can be sparked by a passion for music, or by deep social injustice, or a problem you need to solve, or it can even be ignited by failure. Let me tell you a story. It was my senior year in high school. I got my sights set on Harvard, Dartmouth, Amherst, and Yale. No fallback schools, by the way. You can see where this is going, right? Did I study for my SATs? Not a chance. Was my essay good? No, it stank. Can you guess what happened? I got denied by all 4 schools. I look back at that younger me and I say, bless his little heart. Because I honestly thought that I'd skate into those places on the radiant glory of just being me, because I was special. But that wasn't the worst part. This came right after I lost my bid for senior class president, even though I was running unopposed. I lost to a write-in candidate who was cooler than me. So in one fell swoop, I had to process that I wasn't as cool or as smart as I thought. It was a pretty dark moment. It was also one of the first times in my life that I can remember the sensation of just being caught on fire. I felt like my whole life was going up in smoke, and I had no idea what I was going to do about it. But here's the secret. If you can withstand the heat, you get to keep some of that fire. You can transform it from something that happens to you into a power that comes from you. For me, that fire burned away my arrogance, I can tell you that. I no longer felt special. But in its place, it ignited something new. Not for anything specific yet, just this raw, internal fire, born from shame, that said, I will never let this happen to me again. Luckily, a teacher here, Mr. Krieger, got me a last-minute interview at St. Mike's, and I ended up going to college after all. And it was there that the raw fire from the failure finally found its focus. I realized I wanted to become a doctor. And this time, I knew it wasn't going to happen on charm, or vibes, or because it was my destiny. So when it came time for my medical school admission tests, I didn't coast. I went all in. The memory of that high school failure was really the spark that lit the match. But the thing that kept me at the desk day after day wasn't shame, it was purpose. I wasn't just chasing redemption, I was chasing something real. There was a real seriousness or gravity to the work now because I knew that one day I would be entrusted with someone's health. I felt like I was pursuing something noble and good. And yeah, because of all that, I studied like a maniac. Something like 8 to 10 hours a day for 2 to 3 months. My studies began at 5 a.m. most days. I took a desk job at the gym, which basically let me get paid to study. I scheduled tutoring sessions with my own professors. I was a total beast, and it paid off. I totally crushed it. My professors told me it was the highest MCAT score they'd ever seen, and it got me into NYU. I'm still proud of that. But more than pride, it taught me a lesson that I try to pass on to my kids every chance I get. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your preparation. That's it. When it comes to succeeding at something, that's the whole deal. It's not about being the smartest or the fastest or the most talented. It's about finding something that matters to you and then preparing like your life depends on it, because it does. And here's what I discovered. When you find your fire, whatever that means for you, that preparation doesn't feel like a grind anymore. It becomes something you can't wait to do. You ride the crest of your own momentum. And that momentum is a powerful, incredible thing. For a long time, I thought it was the only thing that mattered. But it's not. You can't live in that state of intense burn forever. Life has seasons, and it's just as important to learn how to ride that natural ebb and flow, and learn when to listen to your body when it's begging for rest. And that's what I want to talk to you about next. Let me tell you a story about the ancient Romans that I just think is really cool. Did you know that about the original Roman calendar only had 10 months? Back around 750 BC, Rome's calendar started in March and ended in December. You can still see the blueprint of that today. September, Sept, was the 7th month. October, Act, was the 8th month. November, Nov, the 9th. December, Dec, the 10th. You get the idea. You're probably thinking, well, with only 10 months, the months must have been longer to account for the whole year, right? But they weren't. March started around the same time as March does now, and December ended around the same time as our December does. So that begs the question, well, what happened between December and March? Well, before January and February were invented, that whole in-between time was simply called winter. The Roman calendar just paused. People didn't even keep track of the days. They just went into this like winter fugue state where the days all blended into each other and people's minds could just take a deep rest from that more scheduled and demanding existence that they lived for the rest of the year. This pause wasn't born from apathy or a lack of drive. With the harvesting, this was a time for mending nets and stacking firewood and telling stories around the fire. It was a necessary and intentional season of recovery, so they'd be strong enough for the next season of intense work. Doesn't that sound awesome to you? If it doesn't now, then trust me, when you get to be my age, it will. But I think we've largely forgotten how to do that. We're expected to always be in the zone, always in this state of intense creation. But when I got into medical school, the last thing I wanted to do was to actually go to medical school. My brain was tired, and I was worried that once I actually went, I'd miss my chance to actually do young person stuff. So the first thing I did after I got into NYU was I called up the Dean of Admissions. He was a really cool guy, and so I was totally honest with him. I told him my brain needed a break from textbooks and classrooms, and I asked if I could defer for you. He was all for it. In fact, he recommended it, and so I did, 3 times. My parents were concerned, but I had an awesome time. I traveled, I lived in a Buddhist monastery in France, I worked in Circuit City, I learned to build computers, I attempted a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail, I lived in an ashram and attended yoga teacher training school before it was cool. I went to wilderness survival school. I just did cool stuff. And by the end of those 3 years, I was ready, like really ready. I didn't dread med school, I craved it because I had let myself have a real winter. And looking back, maybe 3 years was more than I needed to just avoid burnout. But the goal of winter isn't simply about avoiding negatives, it's about building positives. And for me, that meant becoming a more complete person before stepping into such a demanding profession. And I don't regret a single day of building that person. But the ebb and flow of productivity and rest will be a part of your life forever. Last year, for example, I was obsessed with learning about something called functional medicine, and I swear I read about 80 books in 6 months. I was insatiable. But this year, from January to March, I spent most of my time brushing Cheeto crumbs off my chest, trying to beat the final boss in Metroid Dread with my 7 and 9-year-old boys. And it was glorious. Listen, the absolute worst thing you can do during a winter is to spend the whole time guilting yourself for not being more productive. You have to change how you measure productivity. Playing video games with my kids might have been winter for my career, but it was high summer for my relationship with my boys. So here's my advice. If you feel burned out or depleted after a period of intense effort, give yourself permission to recharge. Maybe that's binge watching Better Call Saul, or maybe it's learning how to get really good at making pizza, or maybe it's napping as often as you can and reveling in doing absolutely nothing at all. But those things aren't an escape. They are the quiet, intentional work of recovery. They are the strategic pause that makes the next season of fire possible. So when you feel that burnout, when you feel depleted, when you feel like a failure, I want you to tell yourself one thing. I am not failing. I am in winter. All right, I just want to talk about one more thing. The most important thing, actually. What I think we're here for, why any of this matters. That's right, in the next 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to tell you what I believe is the meaning of life. But to do that, I first want to tell you another story that's even older than Rome, older than agriculture even. Let me take you back to Paleolithic times when the key to survival wasn't individual dominance, but fierce cooperation. For hundreds of thousands of years, the archaeological record shows that there were no palaces, no royal tombs, and no hoarded wealth. Only simple graves where everyone was treated more or less the same. And in the remaining hunter-gatherer societies that survive today, sharing isn't just common, it's the foundation of their entire social system. In many of these societies, they practice something called demand sharing. Instead of it being praiseworthy for someone to share, it's a deep social offense not to. If you have food and someone is hungry, they have the right to ask for it, and you have a sacred obligation to give it. This gives us a window into how our ancestors lived for hundreds of thousands of years. This wasn't just a nice idea, it was the foundation of their social and economic security. Your community was your only insurance policy. A great hunter earned status not by the furs they owned or the food they hoarded, but by what they gave away. Their value was in their ability to provide for the group. And this created a dopamine feedback loop that benefited everyone. The giver felt a surge of purpose and status. The receiver felt the security and warmth of being cared for. This instinct, this deep biological blueprint for radical generosity is the ancient software still running in our minds today. It's why helping someone feels so good, and why selfishness on a deep level often makes us feel bad. It's a betrayal of our own programming. As a doctor, I see how crucial this is. I've seen incredibly smart physicians deliver incredibly poor care because they never took the time to truly connect with the person in front of them. The relationship becomes transactional. What happens in that model is that no one is really there for the person. No one is truly present with them in the middle of the chaos, the confusion, and the pain they're carrying. And that's when people fall through the cracks. What separates the doctors who catch things from the ones who don't usually isn't more training. It's the willingness to personally invest yourself in another human's well-being. It's seeing it as a sacred duty to be a source of strength when someone comes to you in their moment of need. And you don't need to be a doctor to do that. People all around you will need what you have to offer. Sometimes they will need what's in your head, your knowledge, your skills, but far more often they will simply need what's in your heart, the quiet strength of your caring presence when they need it the most. And in those moments, if you have the power to help them, you get to have the honor of doing it. Because that, at its core, is what it's all about, becoming a source of light in a world that can often feel very dark. So what's the meaning of it all? I believe it's this simple. We are not wired for ourselves, but for each other. Viktor Frankl wrote that the most meaningful moments come not when we're focused on ourselves, but when we transcend ourselves, when we use our own light to step into someone else's darkness. And the amazing thing is, the act of giving your light away often brightens your own darkness. Sometimes the best way out of your own struggles is to help someone else with theirs. This isn't just philosophy, it's observable truth. The moments that define us, the memories we treasure most, are almost always about connection, about being there for someone else when it mattered. Now, some of you skeptics out there might be thinking, come on, the planet has 8 billion people on it. How can any of us possibly make a real difference? But the answer isn't really all that difficult. You're not responsible for 8 billion people. You're just responsible for the ones right in front of you. That's your job. That's enough, and it's completely manageable. With that in mind, I'll leave you with this. Whether you find your purpose in a passion, build it through the momentum of your work, or claim it from the ashes of failure, hold on to that why. Let it be the fire that ignites your drive and your power. And learn to listen to the ebb and flow of your own energy. So when you feel your fire fade, don't despair. Have the wisdom to know that the season is ending and allow for winter. And finally, with the light and warmth of your inner fire, go and live a life of radical generosity. Be the person someone can count on when they're lost in the dark. Be the beacon that proves that there is still good in this world. If you can do all that, then in my book at least, you will be exceptionally special. Congratulations, class of 2025. May your lives be full of purpose and generosity. Thank you.
On behalf of the class of 2025, we would like to gift Ania's this gift basket made by Mother Hubbard's.
At this time, we would welcome the Master Singers and the MVU Senior Singers. At this time, I would welcome Amelia Partlow with the senior class address. Amelia is also our Green and Gold winner for 2025.
Good evening, everyone. It is so great to see all of you. I want to give a big thanks to everyone for braving Friday the 13th to make it here. And I want to give an even bigger congratulations to my fellow graduates. Despite the calendar date, it's a pretty lucky day. This is it. Tomorrow, you will officially be alumni. Many of you first entered this room as middle schoolers. Tonight, we entered this room more together, but also more ourselves, more down to earth, but also a few inches taller. We will leave this room together too. So let's celebrate each other with a big round of applause for the class of 2025. Now, I'm going to start right off with a story for you. My Uncle Ryan is a videographer, and a while back he filmed a wedding. Hi, Uncle Ryan. And one of his favorite things to do during the reception is to film people dancing. When he was filming this particular wedding, my uncle took notice of this kid who was on the dance floor. The dude was going to town all on his own, dancing like nobody's business. Even though the bride and groom were not on the dance floor, my uncle continued to film for extra minutes because this kid was so entertaining. He was cutting up the dance floor, and he didn't care what people thought. Later on, my uncle was going through the footage, and he asked me if I knew who this kid was. And I said, yes, his name is Dylan. As most of you know, a few months later, we lost Dylan. While we will forever be bonded by that tragedy, it is not his death that binds us together, but the way he lived his life. That is my message for you, plain and simple. Embrace life fully in your own way. As the late, great Frank Sinatra wrote, I did it my way. Dylan lived his life his own way, and it should be our goal to do the same. Live your life your own way. Through the years, I have already seen some of you doing this. Our class has left its own mark through the individual pursuits of classmates like Ricky, who took what he learned from Boys Nation and brought it to MVU in the form of the Thunder News Network. And let's not forget the snowboarding team, led by Nolan, Parker, Noah, and Isaac, who created a team and took it to the mountain each week. There's also McKenna. Her barrel racing and dedication to the Vermont Rodeo Association is so impressive. Also, let's recognize the seniors on our girls' softball team who worked hard and won the state championship. And while we're at it, let's all go out tomorrow and support the boys' baseball team and at their championship tomorrow. And be sure to wish Lucas congrats and good luck at the Skills USA Nationals for medical mathematics. Thank you to those of you dedicated to the Swanton Historical Society as well. You've ensured that the history of our small town will be preserved. I also want to give a shout out to Caden Prim. Have you heard this guy play? He absolutely shreds on the guitar, and I know he has a bright future ahead of him. You are all able to make our class something special by embracing your unique passions. And these are just a few examples that I've personally taken note of. But I'm certain there are so many of you who have pursued remarkable things that didn't get school-wide recognition. However, they still matter. It's not about how those pursuits are received by the public eye or how impressive they look. It's about how those pursuits enriched your lives in a deeper way. You did high school your way, and our MVU community is all the better for it. And you know what? Shout out to those of you who spent their Sunday afternoons taking driver's ed with Irene. She taught us her way, and now we all know how to drive a Toyota Tundra. I hate to be cliche, but considering one of our class's musical performances was Newsies, I find it suitable to tell you now really is the time to seize the day. There's a lot of uncertainty out there for us, and it can be quite scary at times. For example, political polarization, climate change, grades that actually have letters, learning how to navigate hallways that aren't circles. The list is endless. But I want you to know it'll be okay. It's okay to not have it all figured out right now. It's okay if the path you thought you would take isn't what you want to do anymore. It's okay to defer college. It's okay to go back when you're 30. And if living in your mom's basement is what you want to do, then that's okay with me too. You don't have to fit a certain mold. There's more than one way of doing life, so you should do it your way. We've built this foundation, so let's rely on each other. Let's cheer for each other. When we leave the building tonight, we will no longer be classmates. But I hope somewhere in the future, we will run into each other again. Whether it's as next-door neighbors, coworkers, through Facebook, or LinkedIn, I can't wait to see where life takes you. And when we do reunite, is the first thing you're excited to share really going to be about that thrilling business conference you attended last week? Most likely not. While that is very honorable, there's so much more to life than work, or any societal pressures for that matter. I just want to hear about whether you found happiness, whether you found love. Have you traveled somewhere new? Did you learn something that interests you? Have you crossed an adventure off your bucket list? Did you get the Wordle in one try? I hope you share the thing that's making you feel most alive. So as we prepare to say goodbye to this school and each other, let me leave you with this. Live authentically for yourself. Carry the spirit of our class, and carry the spirit of Dylan, who danced his heart out so much. This isn't the end, it's just time we exit the ballroom and dance into the world for ourselves. With that said, to quote the late great Frank Sinatra once again, start spreading the news, I'm leaving today. Thank you for this journey, class of 2025.
With the presentation of the class gift, I would like to welcome Abigail Johnson and Kirby King to the podium, please.
Hello everybody, my name is Abby Johnson and I am your class secretary.
And I'm Kirby King, the class treasurer. We are honored to be up here tonight to represent the class of 2025 by announcing our class gift. After lots of careful consideration and thought, we have decided to give a wooden memorial bench in honor of Dylan Bushy.
We designed this bench in a way to represent his personality and the activities he loved. Some parts we are integrating into this bench will be an American flag, various wildlife, and an outline picture of him. Alongside will be an engraving of his name and his favorite quote, "Let me live my life."
We plan to put the bench on the football field where Dylan enjoyed spending his time and playing the sport he loved the most.
On behalf of the class, we would like to give a huge thank you to Eric, Michaela, and Jordan Bushy for all your love and support throughout the years, no matter the circumstance. And thank you, Dylan, for the beautiful memories and laughter you shared with the class of 2025. You will forever hold a special place in our hearts. If you would like to see the bench, it is outside by the flagpole. And then lastly, we would like to give a huge thank you to our advisors, Beth and Crispin, for everything you have done for us.
At this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Steve Messier, our Dean of Students, for the presentation of the class of 2025.
Michaela Marie Andrews. Jarrett Cade Thomas Bailey. Caitlin Faith Bailey. Maya Mackenzie Bailey. Max James Bearer. Wyatt Thomas Richard Belrose. Noah Francis Bertrand. Nicholas Paul Bissett. Elizabeth Marie Bordeaux. Blaze Romeo Boyer. Isabel Rose Brady. Casey A. Broderick. Haley M. Bonneau. Logan James Bernor. Dylan John Bushy. Caden Matthew Bushy. Valerie Ann Bushy. Jaylee Catherine Cardinal. Liberty Nicole Chevalier. Parker John Churchill. Branch Allen Clark. Hunter Comstock. Lily Marie Comstock. Blake Stryker Connolly. Colby Jacob Cooper. Arthur Jeffrey Dennett. Brianna Marie Dragon Velez. William John Farnham. Gracie Elaine Fiorini. Kaylee Ann Fontaine. Logan John Fournier. Maddox Elias Fox. Tegan John Gagne. Tyler Alexander Glennon. Isaac James Greenwood. Paige Elizabeth Greenwood. Xander Anthony Carter Thomas Gurley. Gavin Grant Hakey. Parker Allen Hakey. Olivia Lynn Honsinger. Terrell Antoine Houston. Piper Marie Irish. Abigail Rose Johnson. Caleb Robert Jordan. Colby Anthony Kenny. Victoria May Kimball. Kirby May King. Logan Michael Kinney. Caleb Aiden Ledoux. Samson Michael Lake. Mason James Landry. Chelsea Lauren Lepan. Renee Yvonne Lavo. Ava Marie Lawrence. Ava Grace Leach. Ian Christopher Lemna. Justin M. Lena. Alexis Nicole Letkowski. Elias Corey Lucier. Simon Patrick Lucier. Caden Joseph Madigan. Josephine Mae McGuire. Nolan Michael Marchessault. Noah Michael Mayhew. Reed Tyler Myers. Gavin Wright Nichols. Morgan J. Noble. Shannon Atticus Odrikowski. Olivia Paige Oliver. Colin M. Outley. Amelia Mackenzie Partlow. Ricardo J. Perez. Brady S. Pilbin. Jackson Robert Pluth. Isaac Samuel Poor. Cassandra Ray Presley. Caden David Prim. Aaron Michael Raymond. Lucas Andrew Raymond. Gage Nathaniel Remberg. Kaylee Grace Renadat. Bo Carlton Reynolds. Tabor Paul Rich. Kelsey Annette Richard. Hayden Lee Richardson. Dylan Michael Sartwell. James Ryan Schuler. Lily Ann Seveny. Alexander Shedrick. Tanner Glenn Shedrick. Addison R. Sibley. J. David Simino. Jalen Sweat. Michelle Fwang Sweeney. Hunter Matthew Taylor. Drew Jean-Luc Taberge. Matthew Lee Tebow. McKenna Lee Thompson. Keely A. Thompson-Sweet. Lucas Ronald Underwood. Abigail Loretta Wilcox. Aaliyah Ann Wilson. Colby Joseph Young. Joshua James Young.
Oh, that's a lot of people. Good evening. My name is Ricardo Perez, and I am the president of Student Council. I wanted to thank all the faculty, teachers, and parents for making this possible. And I'd like to thank all of you guys for the amazing laughs and memories. I'm leaving home. I'm gonna be homesick. But when I come back, how am I supposed to be cured if all of you guys aren't there? You all made this my home. You helped me when I cried, or made me cry. I was very emotional. Passed the ball to me, and made me laugh since I came into this town 8 years ago. You guys are my home. I know a good movie that reminds me of home, and there's a particular line that stuck with me as a kid. Delivered by Master Oogway himself. It goes, "Yesterday was history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present." This school made me who I am, my history. It got me to a bright future, and you guys made every single day here, including today, a gift. We deserve to do this. At this time, we have the turning of the tassel. Please stand and join me as we turn our tassels. Congratulations, class of 2025. Let us live our lives.
As we prepare to close this evening's ceremony and send our graduates off to their next adventures, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge those members of our faculty that are retiring this year. Ms. Linda Rouse-Turner, thank you for your years of service in our special education department. And Mr. John Lumpson, our athletic director, and his 11 years of service to our school and students. And to Jean Gagne, who is retiring after 45 years. We wish them the very best in their next chapter of life. We would also like to thank Mr. Garso and Ms. Turner for their assistance in the events this evening. I would also like to thank Debbie LaRose for her assistance in organizing and working out the fine details of this evening. Thank you. Graduates, while commencement is a time of celebration and honor of the academic accomplishments you have achieved, there are many people that have helped you get here today. At this time, graduates, would you please stand and recognize the family, friends, and faculty that have helped you get to this moment today. You may be seated. Graduates, as you face many roads in the days ahead, remember this day. This day represents the culmination of your academic studies thus far. Cherish this moment and remember that learning is a lifelong journey that will unlock opportunities throughout your lives. Over these past 6 years, we have become a community. You have looked out for one another, encouraged one another, and challenged each other to be more than you thought possible. You have made lifelong friends. You will leave MVU stronger, wiser, empowered individuals, ready to accept the challenges that will come your way. Carry these lessons with you as you embark on your next journey. Make a difference in your communities throughout your lives. May each of you find joy and contentment in your journeys ahead. It has been our great privilege to know you and to celebrate you. Please remember to keep in touch as you will be missed. Thank you and good luck. I encourage everyone to meet in Commons for some light refreshments. At this time, we will have the recessional of the graduates. Please do not block the walkway of the graduates. Thank you.